My child, I want to speak to the part of you that has been silently accusing yourself, the part of you that looks at your unfinished tasks, your delayed responses, your low energy, your scattered focus, and whispers, "Something must be wrong with me." I want to speak to the place in you that has been calling itself lazy because it could not explain the heaviness. I want to speak gently, but I want to speak clearly. You are not lazy. You are overloaded. You are not careless. You are carrying too much. You are not failing because your strength has limits. You are discovering that your soul was never designed to live under constant weight without rest, without relief, without being held. I know the question you have been afraid to ask. Why am I so tired when nothing is obviously wrong? Why do I feel exhausted even after I slept? Why does my body feel heavy when I should be fine? Why does a simple task feel like a mountain? Why does my heart feel drained before the day has even begun? You have judged yourself because you could not find a visible reason for the tiredness, but I see what has been invisible. I see the emotional weight you have been carrying quietly. I see the spiritual pressure that has been pressing against your peace. I see the unspoken grief, the constant responsibility, the conversations you replay, the people you worry about, the outcomes you try to control, and the long habit of being strong because you did not know if anyone would be strong for you. Do not mistake unseen labor for laziness. Do not mistake depletion for rebellion. Do not mistake the trembling of an overburdened soul for a lack of discipline. There are burdens that spend your strength before your hands ever touch your work. There are worries that exhaust you before your feet ever leave the bed. There are seasons where you have been functioning, smiling, answering, showing up, solving, enduring, and surviving, while some deeper part of you has been asking for care. I have heard that deeper part. I have heard it. I have heard the sigh beneath your prayers and the weariness beneath your silence. This word is not being sent to excuse neglect. I am not calling you into passivity, avoidance, or irresponsibility. I am calling you out of shame so healing can begin. Shame cannot restore you. Condemnation cannot strengthen you. Accusation cannot teach your soul to breathe again. Truth must come first, because what you keep misnaming, you will keep mistreating. If you keep calling exhaustion laziness, you will punish what needs compassion. If you keep calling overload weakness, you will ignore what needs wisdom. If you keep calling your need for rest failure, you will resist the very place where I intend to restore you. And if this word is already touching a place you have not known how to explain, like this video, subscribe for more messages of restoration, and type in the comments, "Lord, teach my soul to rest." Let that be more than a comment. Let it be the beginning of your agreement with truth. I am not coming to condemn the tired place in you. I am coming to uncover what has been draining it. The label of lazy is being removed from your name. I am taking it out of the place where shame wrote it. I am lifting it off the tired part of you that has carried it like a sentence. Lazy is a word people often place on what they do not understand. Lazy is what they call exhaustion when they cannot see the weight behind it. Lazy is what the inner accuser calls you when your body slows down but your soul has been running for years. But I do not call you that. You are not lazy. You are not weak. You are not failing me. You are not behind in my love. You are not less beloved because your energy is low. You are not less chosen because your pace has changed. You are not disqualified because you need rest. And you are not disappointing me because your strength is asking for mercy. I know the voice that has been speaking inside you. I know how it says rest must be justified, energy must be proven, and worth must be earned through constant motion. I know how it makes you feel guilty for stopping and anxious for needing help. I know how it tells you that if you were truly faithful, truly disciplined, truly strong, you would not feel this tired. I have heard that voice. I have heard it. But that voice is not mine. Shame makes tired people hide. Shame makes you pretend you are fine until the hidden place becomes heavier. Shame makes you push past warning signs and call it strength. But my love makes tired people honest enough to receive help. My love gives you permission to say, I am weary. I am overwhelmed. I need care. I need you. I do not confuse depletion with rebellion. I see the difference between a hardened heart and a weary heart. I see when you are resisting me, and I see when you are simply worn down. I am not ashamed of your tiredness. I am calling it by its true name so it can be healed. There are burdens that have been spending your strength that never appeared on your calendar. They were not written as appointments, but they occupied your mind. They were not listed as tasks, but they drained your energy. You worried about everyone. You anticipated problems before they arrived. You managed the emotions in the room so conflict would not rise too high. You carried family tension in your chest. You replayed conversations, wondering if you said too much, not enough, or the wrong thing. You grieved quietly while still doing what had to be done. You tried to keep peace in places where peace was costing you more than anyone could see. This is why I am looking deeper than your visible activity. A person can appear still on the outside and be fighting 1,000 silent battles on the inside. A person can sit in a chair and still be carrying generations of pressure. A person can lie in bed and still be wrestling fear, regret, responsibility, disappointment, spiritual heaviness, and the ache of things that have not yet healed. Do not measure your exhaustion only by what your hands completed. Some of the heaviest labor you have done has happened in the hidden places of thought, emotion, memory, and concern. Your soul was never meant to be a storage room for unprocessed pressure. When there is no safe place to speak, no safe place to weep, no safe place to admit the truth, pressure begins to accumulate. It settles into the inner life. It becomes heaviness. It becomes irritability. It becomes numbness. It becomes the kind of fatigue that sleep alone does not fix, because the body may have been lying down while the soul was still holding everything up. I see the exhaustion of being the responsible one. I see the exhaustion of being the strong one. I see the exhaustion of being the available one, the dependable one, the one who answers, the one who notices, the one who adjusts, the one who does not fall apart because other people are depending on you. I see how much strength it has taken to keep functioning while carrying things you never had room to name. I see what it costs you to be composed when you are aching, patient when you are depleted, present when you are inwardly worn thin. So, I am not only asking you what you did today, I am asking you what you carried today. What fear did you carry? What grief did you carry? What responsibility did you carry that was never yours to hold alone? What outcome did you keep trying to control because you were afraid of what would happen if you released it? Bring that weight to me. Bring the seen and the unseen. Bring the visible work and the invisible labor. I am not dismissing what no one else counted. The world often ignores invisible weight because it only honors visible output. It looks at what was produced, finished, answered, earned, posted, solved, and completed. But I look at the heart beneath the effort. I look at the hidden load beneath the low energy. And I am telling you, much of what has made you tired has not been laziness. It has been unseen labor draining the life I am now teaching you how to receive again. And this false measuring system did not begin inside you. It was taught to you. It was repeated around you. It was rewarded in front of you until some part of you began to believe that a good day is a full day, a valuable person is a useful person, and rest is only acceptable when exhaustion has finally made continuing impossible. The world taught you to measure your worth by output. It taught you to ask, what did I finish? What did I accomplish? Who did I help? What did I earn? What did I prove? And slowly, without your full awareness, productivity became more than a tool. It became a ruler. It became a judge. It became a voice that stood over your life and demanded more. The world says produce, prove, perform, push. I say come, receive, breathe, return. The world says you are valuable when you are efficient. I say you are beloved before you are useful. The world says do more so you can become enough. I say you are mine, and from that place of belonging, you learn what is yours to do and what is not yours to carry. The world says keep going until you break. I say come to me before you collapse. Come while you are honest. Come while you are unfinished. Come while there are still messages unanswered, tasks undone, needs unmet, and questions unresolved. This belief has seeped into places you did not expect. It has seeped into prayer until you feel guilty when you come to me with silence instead of polished words. It has seeped into relationships until you feel you must always be helpful, available, strong, and emotionally convenient. It has seeped into work until you confuse diligence with self-erasure. It has seeped into home life until even your resting place feels like another place where you must perform. It has seeped into self-worth until being human feels like something you must apologize for. But listen to me. You are my child before you are anyone's helper. You are my child before you are a worker, achiever, fixer, provider, caretaker, leader, servant, or solution. I am not against diligence. I am not against faithful work. I bless the hands that serve with love, the mind that thinks with wisdom, the heart that shows up with integrity. But diligence becomes bondage when productivity becomes your master. Because that master never says enough. It never blesses you. It never releases you. It only moves the finish line farther away. And when the soul is forced to live under endless demand, the body eventually begins to speak. It begins to protest what the mind has been trained to deny. It slows, it aches, it tightens, it trembles. It grows heavy, not because you are lazy, but because something in you is telling the truth. You were not created to be valued only when you are producing. Your body has been telling the truth your mind would not let you say. It has been speaking in heavy shoulders, in a tight jaw, in shallow breathing, in headaches that arrive when you have been holding more than you admitted. It has been speaking in foggy thoughts, in numbness, in sudden irritability, in the strange ache of not being able to feel joy even when something good is happening in front of you. And I do not want you to despise the body that has been trying to get your attention. I do not want you to shame the very place that has been warning you with honesty. Sometimes the soul has been trained to stay quiet. It learned to say, "I am fine," when it was not fine. It learned to keep going when it needed comfort. It learned to smile, answer, perform, help, decide, manage, and endure. So when the soul could not speak freely, the body began to speak for it. The body began to say, "Slow down. Listen. Something is too heavy. Something needs care. Something needs to be brought into my presence instead of carried alone." Not every signal is spiritual failure. Not every tired feeling is weakness. Not every foggy day is disobedience. Some signals are invitations. Some symptoms are doors into honesty. Some limits are mercy sounding an alarm before collapse becomes the only way you stop. I know why you override your limits. Stopping has felt dangerous. It has felt irresponsible. It has felt selfish. It has felt weak. You have feared what would fall apart if you paused. But my child, I made you embodied, not mechanical. I did not create you as a machine without need, without rhythm, without threshold, without tenderness. I gave your body limits because limits are part of care, not punishment. And before you ever learned to strive, before the world taught you to earn permission to breathe, I had already woven rest into creation itself. When I rested on the seventh day, I was not recovering from weakness. I was not exhausted from creating. I was not depleted, diminished, or in need of repair. I rested because I was establishing a holy pattern inside what I had made. I was showing creation how to breathe. I was placing rhythm into the world before sin, before striving, before fear, before productivity became a master, before anyone had to prove anything. Rest was not an emergency response to human brokenness. Rest was part of the original design. So hear me clearly. Rest is not laziness. Rest is not escape. Rest is not failure. Rest is not evidence that you are defective, undisciplined, or falling behind. Rest is agreement with the rhythm I placed inside creation. Rest is your body and soul saying yes to the way I made you. Rest is not a reward for finishing everything. Rest was given before everything in your life could ever be finished. It is not the prize at the end of endless striving. It is the sacred rhythm that keeps striving from becoming slavery. I did not make you as a being who could pour out without receiving, work without stopping, carry without releasing, and give without being restored. That is not holiness. That is not maturity. That is not faithfulness. A branch that never receives from the vine cannot bear fruit for long. A field that is never allowed to lie fallow becomes stripped. A heart that is never allowed to be still begins to confuse movement with life. I designed you with limits, not because I loved you less, but because I intended those limits to lead you back into dependence, trust, and communion. And when I gave Sabbath to my people, I did not give it to people who had finished every task. I gave it to people who needed to remember they were not slaves anymore. They had come out of a system that measured them by bricks, quotas, pressure, and fear. They had known what it was to be driven without mercy. So I commanded rest as a sign of freedom. I was teaching them that their worth was no longer in production, their identity was no longer in bondage, and their survival was no longer in the hands of a master who demanded more and more and more. This is why stopping can feel so spiritual and so frightening at the same time. When you stop, something in you has to face the question, do I trust you to remain God while my hands are still? Do I trust you to hold what I am not holding? Do I trust you to sustain what I am not controlling? Rest is a declaration. It says, I am not the source. I am not the savior. I am not the one who keeps the whole world from falling apart. You are God, and I am your child. And if you still wonder whether rest can exist inside purpose, pressure, compassion, and calling, look at my son. Look at Jesus. He will show you what a rested life looks like in the middle of great need. Look at Jesus when the crowds were pressing, when needs were real, when sickness was present, when questions were waiting, when people wanted more from him than one human body could physically stand among. He did not confuse compassion with constant availability. He withdrew to quiet places and prayed. He rose early to be with the Father. He stepped away when others were still searching for him. He slept in the storm while fear shouted around him. He paused before choosing the 12. He invited his disciples, after they had poured themselves out in ministry, to come away by themselves and rest for a while. My child, Jesus was never lazy. Jesus was never careless. Jesus was never selfish. Jesus was never outside the Father's will when he withdrew, when he slept, when he paused, when he let the crowd wait. His rest was not disobedience. His withdrawal was not neglect. His quiet was not weakness. His stillness was not a lack of love. He knew what many of my children have forgotten. Compassion without communion becomes depletion, and mission without abiding becomes strain. Even holy work must flow from my presence, not replace my presence. There is permission hidden in the pattern of my Son. Not every need around you is your assignment for this moment. Not every urgent voice is my voice. Not every waiting person is being entrusted to your immediate response. Some needs are real, and still I may call you away. Some messages are unanswered, and still I may call you to be still. Some responsibilities remain unfinished, and still I may be teaching you to trust me with what your hands cannot hold. The crowd may still be there, the storm may still be loud, the demands may still feel pressing, but obedience is not always movement. Sometimes obedience is withdrawal, sometimes faithfulness is sleep. Sometimes love looks like returning to the Father before returning to the work. And if this feels difficult to receive, it is because there are lies that have made rest feel unsafe. I want to name them now, because what Jesus modeled for you, shame has tried to forbid in you. I want to name the lies, my child, not to shame you for believing them, but to remove their power over you. Lies lose strength when they are brought into the light. They lose authority when they are confronted by truth. They lose their grip when you realize they were never my voice, even if they sounded familiar, even if they sounded responsible, even if they sounded spiritual, even if they sounded like wisdom because you heard them for so long. The first lie is that rest must be earned. The voice says, finish everything first. Prove you deserve it first. Exhaust yourself enough first. Only rest when there is nothing left to do and no one left to need you. But I want to dismantle this lie at its foundation. Rest is not purchased by exhaustion. Rest is not a wage paid to the body after it has been used up. Rest is received as part of my care for you. A child does not have to collapse before being held. A sheep does not have to prove its worth before being led beside still waters. You do not have to spend yourself down to emptiness before I am willing to restore you. The second lie is that rest is selfish. The voice says, if you stop, you are choosing yourself over others. If you pause, you are abandoning people. If you take space, you are being unloving. But listen to me. Rest does not make love smaller. Rest purifies love from resentment. A restored person can love with presence instead of irritation, with tenderness instead of depletion, with patience instead of quiet bitterness. When you refuse rest in the name of love, you may begin to offer people the exhausted version of you while secretly resenting the very people you are trying to serve. I am not calling you into selfishness. I am calling you into restoration, so what flows from you is not forced, brittle, and angry, but whole, willing, and alive. The third lie is that rest means you are falling behind. The voice says, everyone else is moving, everyone else is building, everyone else is answering, achieving, improving, advancing, and if you stop, you will lose your place. But my pace is not always the pace of striving. Obedience may look slower than panic, but it carries more peace. Obedience may look quieter than ambition, but it carries more fruit. Obedience may include pauses that do not make sense to the part of you trained by urgency. I do not measure progress only by speed. I measure faithfulness by surrender, by alignment, by trust, by whether your soul is still connected to me while your hands are working. The fourth lie is that if you stop, everything will fall apart. This lie has ruled many of your choices. It has made you overfunction. It has made you answer when you had no strength left. It has made you carry moods, outcomes, schedules, expectations, emergencies, and burdens that were never yours to hold as a savior. But I am the sustainer, not your panic, not your overthinking, not your constant availability, not your inability to say no, not the tightness in your chest that convinces you vigilance is the same as protection. I hold what you cannot hold. I keep what you cannot keep. I work while you sleep. I remain God when your hands are still. The fifth lie is that spiritual people should not feel this tired. The voice says, if you had more faith, you would not be weary. If you prayed more, you would not need help. If you were stronger, you would not need sleep, silence, food, support, and restoration. But I made beloved people with bodies. I made faithful people with nervous systems. I made devoted people with limits. Elijah needed food and sleep. Jesus slept in a boat. The disciples needed to come away and rest for a while. Your tiredness is not always proof of spiritual failure. Sometimes it is proof that you are human and need the care I never meant for you to despise. So let truth answer the lie. Rest is not earned, it is received. Rest is not selfish, it restores love. Rest is not falling behind, it is walking at the pace of trust. Rest does not make everything collapse. It reminds your soul that I am the one holding all things together. Rest is not unspiritual. It is one of the places where I meet the whole person I made. If this is touching the hidden place in you, type in the comments, I release what I was never meant to carry. Let that be your public agreement with the truth I am speaking over you. Let it be a line drawn between the old voice and my voice. Let it be the beginning of a different obedience. But after the lies are removed, there is another thing I want you to see. Because many times, when my children finally stop, they do not truly rest. They collapse, they scroll, they numb, they escape, and the soul remains tired because counterfeit rest can quiet the surface while leaving the weight untouched. Counterfeit rest is anything that stops activity without releasing the burden beneath it. It is when your body is no longer working, but your soul is still carrying the pressure. It is when your hands are still, but your mind is racing. It is when the room is quiet, but fear is still speaking loudly inside you. It is when you have technically paused, but you have not surrendered. You have stopped moving, but you have not let me hold what has been crushing you. This is why collapsing has not restored you. Collapse may be the body's emergency stop, but it is not always the soul's restoration. Scrolling while anxious may distract your eyes, but it does not always quiet your spirit. Sleeping with dread may close your eyelids, but it does not always give your heart peace. Escaping into noise may keep you from feeling the ache for a moment, but it cannot heal what needs my presence. Staying busy with easier tasks may feel like rest because it avoids the harder thing, but avoidance is not restoration. Calling distraction peace does not make it peace. Numbness can imitate calm, but it cannot produce wholeness. And I am not saying this to condemn you. I am not angry that you reached for relief. I know why you reached for it. I know why your hand went to the phone. I know why you kept the video playing. I know why you slept longer but still woke up heavy. I know why you filled the silence with sound, why you kept doing small things so you would not have to feel the large thing, why you tried to quiet the ache any way you could. I am not mocking your survival. I am not shaming your attempt to breathe. I am inviting you deeper than temporary numbing. Because counterfeit rest may pause the body while the soul keeps carrying pressure, fear, resentment, and unfinished grief. You can lie down and still carry the argument. You can take a day off and still carry the guilt. You can sit in silence and still carry the dread of tomorrow. You can watch, eat, sleep, scroll, wander, and avoid, and still rise with the same weight because the burden was never placed in my hands. It was only covered for a little while. True rest is different. True rest includes surrender. True rest includes safety. True rest includes honesty. True rest includes presence. True rest is not pretending the burden is small. It is admitting that it is heavy and letting me meet you there. True rest is the willingness to say, Father, I cannot solve this tonight, I cannot control this person. I cannot rewrite what happened. I cannot carry tomorrow before it comes. I cannot heal myself by distraction. I need you to hold what I cannot hold. So I am not only telling you to stop, I am inviting you to come. Come with the weight still in your hands. Come before you have figured it out. Come before you feel peaceful. Come before you know how to release it perfectly. The rest I give is not escape from reality. It is my presence entering reality with you and teaching your soul that it is safe to let go. Come to me with the weight still in your hands. Do not wait until you have made yourself calm. Do not wait until your thoughts are organized, your emotions are acceptable, your faith feels strong, and your face looks peaceful. Come while the burden is still obvious. Come while your chest is still tight. Come while the tears are still close. Come while your hands still feel clenched around what you do not know how to release. I did not say, "Come to me, all who are already rested." I said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." I am not asking you to pretend the weight is light. I am not asking you to call grief easy, pressure small, uncertainty simple, or disappointment harmless. I am not asking you to deny how much it has cost you to carry what you have carried. I am inviting you into exchange. Bring me the crushing weight and receive my sustaining presence. Bring me the burden that has bent your soul inward and receive the yoke that teaches you how to walk with me instead of dragging life alone. There is a difference, my child, between carrying responsibility and carrying sovereignty. Some things are yours to steward with wisdom, faithfulness, honesty, and love, but not everything you care about is yours to control. You may be responsible to pray, but you are not responsible to force an outcome. You may be responsible to speak truth, but you are not responsible to change another person's heart. You may be responsible to make the next faithful decision, but you are not responsible to predict every future door, danger, reaction, and consequence. Responsibility walks with me. Sovereignty belongs to me. The yoke I give is not the absence of all responsibility. It is the removal of the crushing burden of trying to sustain yourself, save everyone, secure every outcome, and hold tomorrow together by the strength of your fear. My yoke is easy because I am in it with you. My burden is light because it does not require you to become God. It teaches you pace. It teaches you dependence. It teaches you to move when I say move, pause when I say pause, release when I say release, and trust when you cannot see. So give me the outcome you cannot guarantee. Give me the person you cannot change. Give me the future you cannot predict. Give me the grief you keep postponing because you are afraid that if you feel it, you will not be able to function. Give me the guilt you keep replaying, the conversation you keep rewriting, the loss you keep hiding from, the responsibility you keep enlarging until it becomes bigger than my presence in your imagination. Now, even here, open your hands. Let your fingers unclench a little. Lower your shoulders. Soften your jaw. Take one honest breath, not as a technique to perfect, but as an act of trust. Breathe in and remember, I am here. Breathe out and let your soul say, I am not carrying this alone. And as you learn to release, I will teach you something deeper. Rest must touch every layer of you, because you are not only a worker who needs a break. You are a whole soul, and I intend to restore the whole person beneath the weight. You are not simple, my child. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, with layers that speak, layers that ache, layers that remember, layers that hope, layers that have been pouring out in different ways. So your restoration cannot be one-dimensional. True rest must reach more than the body that finally got tired enough to stop. I want to restore your body, your mind, your emotions, your spirit, your relationships, your creativity, your purpose, and even the part of you that has been making decisions while exhausted. Your body needs rest that is not punishment. It needs sleep without guilt, nourishment without shame, stillness without apology, and movement that heals rather than proves. I did not give you a body so you could treat it like a machine, running it until it breaks and then blaming it for needing repair. Your body needs to be listened to, fed, warmed, hydrated, stretched, held in gentleness, and allowed to stop before collapse becomes its only language. Your mind needs a different kind of rest. It needs quiet from the constant turning, the endless analysis, the open loops, the imagined conversations, the future scenarios, the fear disguised as planning. Mental rest may look like writing the list honestly, so your mind does not have to keep holding every detail. It may look like turning down the noise. It may look like saying, "This cannot be solved today," and placing it in my hands until wisdom comes. You do not have to think your way into safety. You may trust me with what your mind cannot finish. Your emotions need rest too. They need room to grieve what you have minimized, to cry without explaining, to name disappointment without feeling ungrateful, to stop performing happiness for people who are uncomfortable with your honesty. Emotional rest is not self-pity. It is truth in my presence. It is letting me hold the sorrow you kept hidden because you thought holiness meant never aching. Your spirit needs rest that comes from receiving before serving. Prayer does not always have to be striving. Silence does not have to be frightening. Come back to the place beneath every role, beneath every assignment, beneath every demand, and hear me call you beloved. Before you do anything for me, receive love from me. Your relationships need rest from draining dynamics, from immediate demands, from managing everyone's feelings, from being available at the cost of your peace. You may answer with wisdom instead of urgency. You may set boundaries without becoming cruel. You may love people without becoming their savior. And your creativity needs rest too. Joy, beauty, play, wonder, music, laughter, and delight are not useless because they do not produce a measurable outcome. They are part of how I breathe life back into you. Now I will teach you small rhythms that make this restoration livable, not merely inspirational. Rest must become something your days can hold. Rest must become something your days can hold, not only something your heart agrees with when you are already exhausted. Because the soul that has survived by constant motion does not always feel safe in stillness at first. It may feel restless when you stop. It may feel guilty when there is silence. It may feel exposed when there is no task in your hands and no urgency telling you who you are. So I will not teach you rest as a heavy law. I will teach you rest as gentle retraining. I will teach your body, your mind, your nervous system, and your spirit to learn again that stopping is not danger. Stopping can be trust. Stopping can be worship. Stopping can be the place where you remember that I am near. Begin with the morning pause. Before the phone, before the messages, before the list, before the responsibilities begin naming you, before the needs of the day, reach for your attention. Pause with me. Take 3 slow breaths and say, I am your child before I begin this day. Not after you succeed, not after you perform, not after you answer everyone, not after you prove yourself useful. Before the day begins, let belonging speak first. Let identity speak before urgency. Let my voice become louder than the screen, louder than the schedule, louder than the fear that says you must begin by catching up. 3 breaths may seem small, but small obedience repeated in love becomes a pathway. It teaches the soul that the day does not have to begin in panic. Then practice the transition pause. Between one task and the next, between one conversation and the next, between work and home, between caregiving and errands, between ministry and solitude, stop for 1 minute, only 1 minute. Release the previous weight before you pick up the next responsibility. Do not let every burden stack on top of the last until your inner life becomes crowded with unfinished emotions, leftover tension, and silent resentment. Pause and say, Lord, I give you what just happened. I receive grace for what comes next. Let your shoulders lower, let your jaw soften, let your breath return. You were not made to carry every moment into the next moment without release. And then, my child, establish a protected evening. Choose a point in the day where the unfinished things are named honestly and entrusted to me. This does not mean everything is done. This does not mean every problem is solved. This does not mean every message is answered. Every room is clean, every fear is quiet, and every plan is complete. It means you draw a line and say, these things remain unfinished, but they are not allowed to rule my soul tonight. Write them down if you need to. Speak them to me if you need to. Place them in my hands one by one. The task left undone, the decision still waiting, the person you are concerned about, the bill, the conversation, the appointment, the uncertainty. Name it, entrust it, and then do not let it sit on the throne of your inner life when I have invited you into peace. There must also be weekly restoration, a set-apart space that is not secretly another productivity strategy, not time to catch up so you can become worthy, not time to prepare yourself to be useful again. Not time to prove that even your rest can produce something impressive. Time to receive. Time to worship. Time to be quiet. Time to walk slowly, eat with gratitude, sit without earning, laugh without measuring, read what nourishes, listen for my voice, and let your soul come back to its proper pace. Put it where you can see it. Protect it before other demands. Swallow it. Treat it as holy, not because the practice saves you, but because it makes room for you to remember the one who does. And I want you to ask an honest question often. What am I carrying that you never assigned to me, and what form of rest does this part of me need? Ask it when you feel resentment rising. Ask it when your body tightens. Ask it when you cannot sleep. Ask it when you feel angry at people for needing you. Ask it when you are doing many things but losing your peace. Some parts of you need sleep. Some need silence. Some need truth. Some need tears. Some need help. Some need a boundary. Some need worship. Some need to stop confusing guilt with guidance. These rhythms are not laws for you to perform perfectly. Do not turn rest into another place where shame can accuse you. If you forget the morning pause, return at noon. If the evening gets away from you, begin again tomorrow. If weekly restoration feels awkward at first, let it be awkward and keep showing up. Repetition is how the soul learns trust. Repetition is how the body learns safety. Repetition is how the mind learns that it does not have to stay alert every hour to keep you alive. Rest becomes real when it is protected in ordinary moments, and protection will require more than intention, because guilt will argue, expectations will press, people will assume your availability unless wisdom teaches you how to answer. So now I must speak to the demands that have been taking what I did not give them permission to take. You are allowed to disappoint demands that I did not give you. Let that sentence touch the place in you that still believes every need is a command, every expectation is an assignment, every disappointment is proof that you have failed. I know the fear that rises when you begin to draw a boundary. What if they misunderstand me? What if they think I do not care? What if the need remains? What if guilt follows me into the quiet and tells me I have chosen myself over love? I know that fear. I have heard the accusation. I have heard it. I have heard it. But love and limitless access are not the same thing. Love is not the surrender of all discernment. Love is not the destruction of the body I gave you. Love is not the silencing of your soul until you cannot hear my voice beneath everyone else's urgency. Availability without wisdom can become another form of bondage. Constant access without prayer can become disobedience, disguised as kindness. When you keep saying yes to what I have not assigned, you may begin saying no to the very restoration I am offering. So receive my permission, my child. You may answer later, you may say no, you may leave some things unfinished, you may let the message wait while your soul returns to peace. You may stop carrying the emotional weather of every room you enter. You may step away from a demand without stepping out of love. You may let me be God in the places where you have been trying to be present everywhere, available to everyone, and responsible for everything. A boundary rooted in obedience is not rejection. A boundary rooted in wisdom is not cruelty. A boundary rooted in stewardship is not selfishness. It is the humble acknowledgement that you are not limitless, that your body has a language, that your soul has needs, that your peace must be guarded, and that I alone am the one who never sleeps nor slumbers. You are not abandoning people when you refuse to become their savior. You are returning them and yourself to the care of the one who can actually hold them. The world will continue under my care when you rest. The people you love will still be seen by me when you are unavailable. The unfinished work will not become more sovereign than I am because you stop for the night. The demand that feels enormous to you is not enormous to me. I am not asking you to be careless. I am asking you to stop confusing exhaustion with faithfulness. So now do not only understand this, practice it. Let truth move from your mind into your body. Let your hands open. Let your shoulders lower. Let your soul begin to release what guilt has been using to keep you enslaved. So now, my child, pause with me. Not for a long time, not as another task to do correctly. Just pause. Let your shoulders lower, even a little. Let the part of you that has been bracing soften in my presence. Unclench your hands. Open your fingers. Let your jaw loosen. Let your tongue rest. Let your breath become slower than the fear inside you. You do not have to rush through this moment. You do not have to perform peace. You do not have to prove that you are receiving perfectly. Simply stop fighting for one breath. Simply stop holding everything so tightly for one breath. Now name one burden silently before me. Not every burden, not the whole mountain, just one. The worry that keeps returning, the person you cannot fix, the decision you keep replaying, the guilt that has followed you into quiet rooms, the pressure that sits on your chest when you wake. Name it without explaining it to me. I already know. Name it without defending why it is heavy. I already understand. Name it without trying to solve it while you speak. I am not asking you to bring me a finished answer. I am asking you to bring me the weight. And now, in the quiet place of your soul, place it before me. See it leaving your hands. See it no longer pressed against your chest. See it no longer sitting in the center of your identity. You are not denying it. You are not pretending it does not matter. You are moving it from the place where it has been ruling you into the place where my presence can meet it. Let it be before me. Let it be near me. Let it be held by me. I am here. I am here. You are safe with me. You do not have to carry this alone. Breathe in and let your body hear what your soul is hearing. Breathe out and let the pressure loosen its claim. I am here. I am here. You are safe with me. The burden does not have to remain in the same place. The fear does not have to sit on the throne. The guilt does not have to hold the keys to your peace. If you can, say it softly or type it in the comments as your declaration. I receive God's rest for my tired soul. Let that sentence become agreement. Let it become resistance against shame. Let it become a small doorway into a new rhythm. This moment is not the end of restoration. It is the beginning of learning how to return. Again and again, breath by breath, burden by burden, you will learn that I am near, that your soul can release, and that the person beneath the pressure is still here with me. And this is what I want you to understand now, my child. I am not only giving you a pause from pressure, I am restoring the person beneath the pressure, beneath the productivity, beneath the caretaking, beneath the striving, beneath the survival patterns, beneath the constant sense that you must hold everything together. There is still the person I formed, the person I know, the person I love without requiring performance. You have not disappeared. You have been covered. You have been buried under urgency, responsibility, fear, disappointment, and exhaustion. But you have not been lost to me. I see the one who used to feel joy without asking whether joy was useful. I see the one whose prayers were once more honest than polished. I see the tenderness that became guarded because too many things required strength. I see the laughter that became quieter, the hope that became cautious, the creativity that became tired, the peace that became interrupted by the next demand. And I am not standing over you with accusation. I am bending near with restoration. I am calling forth what pressure tried to silence. As rest begins to reach you, you will not only feel less tired, you will begin to become clear again. Your thoughts will have more space. Your reactions will become softer because your soul will not be living so close to the edge. Your prayers will become more honest because you will not be using all your strength to appear fine. Your decisions will become calmer because panic will no longer be the loudest counselor in the room. Your sleep will deepen. Your resentment will loosen. Your capacity to feel joy will return, not all at once, not by force, but like light entering a room that has been shut for too long. Rest is not only restorative, it is formative. In rest, I rebuild trust. In rest, I remind you who you are. In rest, I strengthen discernment so you can know the difference between assignment and pressure, between obedience and fear, between love and overextension. In rest, I restore tenderness without leaving you unprotected. I restore strength without making you hard. I restore purpose without returning you to panic. I am not calling you into passivity. I am calling you into communion. You will still move. You will still serve. You will still build, love, work, give, decide, and obey. But action will begin to flow from my presence instead of from terror. You will move because I lead you, not because shame drives you. You will give from overflow, not from emptiness. You will carry what is yours with grace and release what was never yours with peace. I am not taking purpose from you. I am restoring the soul that purpose was never meant to destroy. So receive now. Do not perform this blessing. Do not try to earn this rest while I am placing it in your hands. Simply receive, and let me pray peace over the tired places that are learning how to live again. So now, my child, Receive this prayer over the tired places in you. Do not strain to deserve it. Do not reach for it as if it is far away. Let it come to you gently. Let it settle over the places that have been tense for too long, the places that have been blamed for being weak, the places that have been called lazy when they were actually wounded, burdened, depleted, and waiting to be restored. Father, I pray now over the one who is listening with a weary soul. Let shame lift from them like a weight they were never meant to wear. Let the accusation lose its authority. Let every harsh name spoken over their exhaustion be silenced by your love. Where they have called themselves lazy, speak beloved. Where they have called themselves behind, speak held. Where they have called themselves broken beyond repair, speak restored. Let them know in the deepest place that they are not abandoned, not disqualified, not forgotten, and not rejected. They are seen, they are carried, they are invited into rest. I pray for the burden still clenched in their hands. Reveal what is truly their assignment and what has only been fear wearing the clothing of responsibility. Reveal what you have actually called them to carry and what guilt has added. Reveal what came from inherited patterns, from old survival, from trying to earn love, from trying to prevent disappointment, from trying to be safe by staying useful. And with tenderness, Lord, show them what must now be released. Not violently, not in panic, not with self-condemnation, but with trust. One burden at a time, one breath at a time, one honest surrender at a time. Calm their nervous system, Lord. Speak peace to the body that has been bracing. Speak peace to the chest that has been tight, to the stomach that has been holding fear, to the shoulders that have carried invisible weight, to the jaw that is clenched through unspoken pain. Let sleep deepen. Let rest become safe again. Let the night no longer feel like a courtroom where every unfinished thing comes to accuse them. Let their bed become a place of receiving. Let their mind learn quiet. Let their body learn that it does not have to stay alert every moment to be protected. Give them wisdom for boundaries. Teach them the holy difference between love and overextension, between compassion and self-erasure, between obedience and fear. Give them courage to disappoint demands you did not give. Give them grace to answer with peace instead of panic. Give them discernment to know when to move, when to pause, when to speak, when to be silent, when to help, and when to trust you with what they cannot fix. And now I declare over you, my child, you are not lazy, you are not abandoned, you are not disqualified, you are not forgotten, you are beloved, you are seen, you are carried, you are mine. Your exhaustion is not your name. Your weariness is not your identity. Your need for rest is not a failure. It is an invitation back into my care. May the peace of God guard your heart, quiet your thoughts, and teach your soul that it is safe to rest in Him. May peace meet you in the morning, walk with you through the day, and cover you through the night. May rest become a rhythm, not a rescue after collapse. May your soul remember that you are held even when you stop. If this prayer spoke to the weight you have been carrying, share this message with someone who needs permission to breathe again. Subscribe for more words of healing and peace, and leave your prayer request in the comments so this community can stand with you. And as your agreement, that shame will no longer call your exhaustion laziness type. My soul is resting in God's hands.